Hi, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Mirko, episode 62. I'm very happy that you're here, and if you're new, just feel free to share this episode with your friends. Very happy to have you and all of them. Today's episode is another special episode. I'm very excited to have an amazing human behind the world of coffee, and yeah, it's gonna be a treat. So first and foremost, hope you're all well and safe. And yeah, I think we should just. I think she's here. Here we go. Connection. Sean, I'm fantastic. How you doing, my man? Hope you're well. And I think it's loading. So yeah, we're going to have a Smayah, and here she is. Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Hi, good morning from Kigali.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, even better now. So good to see you and meet you, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate. I'm very stoked to have you on, and I know you're busy, so I'm really grateful for your time.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Such a great honor.
It is my pleasure, and big shout out to the Aeropress. They gave me the green light on this, which is really good. And well, first and foremost, how you doing, and how's your family, and is everyone? You know, it's been of a interesting time around the world. So first,
Yeah, first of all, I'm doing amazing. It's been a great Friday so far. It's Eid today for Muslim. So this is a great way that I could spend my Eid, my Eid morning. Um, but everybody's good. We're keeping social distance. We're following the measures and regulations set by the government, and we're trying to protect our family members, especially our men, because they're the most easily affected people with that pandemic, but also trying to make sure that everything is good. We keep the good vibes, good energy, because at the end of the day, that's all you need to do. It starts from here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think we're gonna touch on that later because it's something I'm passionate about. And it's forgive me. How do I pronounce properly your name first?
I know a lot of people just call me whatever they want, or they call me Smile, but my name is Smaya.
Smayah. Okay, perfect. Gotcha. Smayah, could you kindly tell us, for people who don't know, more about you and how did you start your amazing coffee journey?
Yeah, so thanks. My name is Smayah Uwajeneza is my last name. It could be so hard for you guys, but keep Smaya. Or if you forget about it, just call me Cafeina. I like, I like that name too. But so I started working in the coffee industry early 2016 after finishing my high school. And I started as a barista, laser focused looking for money for college. And then it ended up becoming part of my life. And I'm sure we'll go through that with all the questions that you'll be asking me.
Hmm.
But I started really working into coffee as I really wanted some money for college. And the company that I currently work for was just starting by then, showcasing amazing women-grown specialty coffee that could continue to improve their lives back in the farms and everything, and inspire them and build economic independence to those women coffee farmers. And I was so lucky to work for such a company, or to start with such a company that is working handy with the coffee farmers, and that with everything that I was doing, I ended up becoming not only looking for money to go to college for myself, but now starting to find a way out of showcasing the amazing work that these women coffee farmers are doing to deserve better prices for their coffee. but also, becoming more community oriented, and just decided to use coffee or my job as a platform, as an opportunity for me to become their face, their voice, because they're the most faceless people in the supply chain, and also to inspire everybody around me to do more, and dream more and become more. And we can not only coffee, but everybody else can just use their own platform. So long as you love what you do, most of the time you find emotions drives your better actions, if I can say.
Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think I can top that off. There's no need to. I think what you just said is so crucial in many aspects because there is a purpose behind every day that you go to go on with your day and your duties and your tasks. So I think in having that purpose is just, well, first of all, it's wonderful, but it's just selfless to be able to give back. And like you say, whether it's a platform, whether it's doing some work at farm or not at farm, I think it's just amazing what you do. And I mean, just to give some context to the audience, and then we'll dive deep. What exactly is your role, and what sort of things that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, oh my God. My role is just a lot. But yeah, within 4 years that I've been around coffee, I've been able to really evolve ridiculously, if I may say. So I started as a trainee, ended up becoming a barista. Within a few months, became a senior barista at the cafe. Um, and then when I looked around, we didn't really have any female roster. And we didn't really have a lot of professional rosters in our country. And I was like, I want to be the first female roster. So a few months later, I started engaging myself in a lot of competitions, national, regional, and also international. And after that, I guess my having good leaders that see that you really motivated to become more, they kind of offer support or opportunities for you to grow. So they offered me the opportunity to start now getting engaged into coffee roasting. It wasn't easy, but then when SEA offered me that scholarship program, I was extremely grateful, because then I could be able to just get my skills on an international level, standardized education about roasting. So I became a roaster at Question, and I'm still taking my skills to at Food Coffee Campus. I hold my intermediate certificate on the roasting level. So before the pandemic, I was hoping to do my pro and do my ASD, and I'm done. Now I can train others. But so at Question currently, I work as a quality manager, a roster. I assist with social media. I train the baristas. I guide tour guides. I guide tour treks, tour treks, and what else do I do? I just do a lot of things.
A few AeroPresses here and there.
Yeah, but it's such a great platform for me, and being able, because everything I want to do, when you're trying to showcase people's work, when you're trying to become a voice in the face of the people, you really want to become pro in what you do. You really want to understand every corner of the industry. So that that you really need to sacrifice time away from your family, away from your friends, no time for boyfriends or husbands, most of the time back in years. Uh, and also working and also going to school at the same time, because I also didn't lose that sight on my goal. So it's not something that is really easy to do. It's really hectic. You can lose yourself, but when you remember that this is what I love to do, as I said, your emotions just drives for your better actions. And you find yourself, it's not work anymore, but it's more like fun, learn, and, educate. So
And often
that's,
that
yeah.
And often that what you do is also why you do it. I mean, coffee is often given for granted, especially in Western countries. Yeah, it wouldn't be possible without the people. In your words, how important is to sort of give visibility, but also recognition, respect, and all those words to the humans at origin, you know, from pickers, farmers, producers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really when I first so when I started working into coffee industry, as I told you, I started as a barista, really looking for money. But a few months later, when my leader realized that I really love to write as well, I love art in general, and I was doing a lot of blogging, poetry, and he was just like, would you like to go out to the firm and collect all these amazing stories so that we could actually share that with our coffee buyers? And I was like, yeah. I was so excited to go out to the field for the very first time, but to be honest, that was life transformation. You're this young girl, 17 years old or 18 years old, and you're just there meeting amazing women that have been around coffee for years. And they're just telling you how much coffee has positively changed their lives and how much coffee means to them and how it has become their livelihood. But when you look at somebody that is telling you that story, you cry because you're like, you're poor, right? You're poor. You're still living in this kind of life, yet you have big smiles and big hopes that hey, everything is just gonna be okay. With coffee being around us, everything is just gonna change. If you're kind and reasonable enough, that really changes your life. You're like, this person really has nothing. When you know how much they earn out of that coffee, and you know how much, when you see their face with the big smiles and hopes that you get from their sound, you're like, my problems are really tiny. You really kind of now start thinking about, okay, so these are the people that do these amazing jobs. They take you through every work that they do at the firm level, washing station level. And when you look around, you're the person that meets the customers, that enjoys their coffee on a daily basis. How many, like, these are the people with no communication plans, like no phones, no smartphones. They have, they're just living in the box somewhere. Whatever that the buyer wants from them, that's what they do, and they always have to be guided. But I was like, no, that this is not only the best thing that could be done. They really need visibility. If they're the ones to produce all the amazing coffees that we enjoy every morning, that we can't start a day without, they really need to be part of those tables that are deciding for what should happen in the coffee industry. I
Mm.
know that language barrier, there could be a lot of different challenges, but there could also be a lot of solutions. I believe that with every problem, there's at least two solutions for that problem. So it's just a matter of changing the system. It's just a matter of people like me from the origin to really recognize and identify that gap that is between the farmers and the coffee consumers and fill it up. And it doesn't need a lot. It doesn't need to have a lot of money to give them. It just needs for you to identify that gap and use your everything that you have to make sure that your work reflects back to them. So that's my drive every day. I want to make sure that I embrace their work through everything I do. If I make a cup of coffee to a client, I want to make sure that it really, really tastes as good as it could. When I'm roasting, I want to make sure that I embrace their work through the art and craft of roasting. When I'm telling the story, I want to make sure that everyone who is listening to me can see them through me because they can't be here right now. They can't talk to you, but they're the foundation of everything. They're the reasons why we're here, reasons for us to have time in a coffee shop. So we should make sure that they feel valued, inspired, and strengthened and supported through their work. And that way, we will absolutely guarantee sustainability of the coffee industry.
That put so much perspective.
Yeah.
So I hope many more who will listen to this. I think that, like you said, puts things in perspective, and it makes you realize how many things that we give for granted, especially in luckier countries, and should makes you feel a bit more grateful for what we have and the opportunities, not just material, just even opportunities and just basics that we have. And also, I'm assuming that that emotion must also be driven by a deep connection with your land as well as the people that populate that land.
That's big time. That's really true. So with that thing that you just mentioned, I when I travel and I talk to a lot of baristas, they're like, we wish to be out there at the coffee farm. You're so lucky. I'm sure you do everything you do because these are the people that you could see anytime. You could just drive 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 6 hours to get to see them and see everything that they're doing. And we're just baristas out there. Out here, we cannot afford to go out there to the coffee field and get to see and get to meet people behind the coffee. So with that, myself taking the initiative of bridging that gap, I started now. It's not all the time you get to have a person from the origin to be in such places that I get to be. And you're like, okay, now I'm not doing this for only coffee producers, but there's something I can do for the coffee, for on the consuming side as well. And that is what. So I got this idea of Elevate Through Coffee. I started doing this event everywhere I go. It's called Elevate Through Coffee, where I showcase everything that happens to the coffee forum. And I really like when baristas are getting involved and participating in those events, and they're just like, I have nothing to give that farmer that is doing amazing job, that has allowed me to be behind the bar. What can I do? And it's so good when when they, at the end of the day, realize that every cup of coffee, if they make it as good as it should be, not avoiding wastage, because people really want to hear this. Sometimes we don't see the little thing that we do in our life changes the life of another person. So it's just a spark that you do, but it's going to make another person's life sustainable. So if you're avoiding waste, for the baristas, this is up to you. If you're avoiding waste and you're making sure that you're brewing the coffee that you're going to be serving to the customer as good as possible, and that customer is going to be happy, now you're becoming a face of the industry, because you are the face of the industry. She's going to come back and pay more money, and that more money that is coming is going to help you sustain your job, but it's going to also go back to the farmer that you've never met, that you probably will never meet. So that's how we should always look at things. We should always understand that everything I do, making every moment of our life meaningful to people that we've never met. This is always my advice. So I started doing this Elevate Through Coffee program everywhere I go, because I realized that baristas really want to go out there. Also not baristas, but also some other people, even customers, they haven't been. But when I go there and I showcase, I'm making a presentation, I talk to them, they always feel like now they're on the ground. So I really thank Specialty Coffee Association, S&D, for supporting me with that. They have been flying me over, and every single time I go to school, maybe to study roasting, I take advantage of my trip and making sure that I elevate people through coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, and because it's also about the stories, isn't it? Like, you know, we all we all talk about stories and storytelling across, even on a brand point of view. Brands should be doing storytelling. I think that sharing stories from origin is important, because coffee kind of brings and gather people together to share their stories. But it will be, going back on the visibility, as long as there's consent, which is something very important that I've learned a few years back. I was at a coffee talk, and there was this woman who was describing how, often roasters, they see pictures of farmers and, people at the farm. And I never thought about it until I heard it, which was, well, how many of those pictures were actually consented to be taken? And it hit me. I was like, damn, it's true. Like, how would I feel if I'm not working as a barista now, but say I was working at a cafe, people were taking pictures of me, and then I find my picture of myself on a coffee bag in Poland or in the UK or somewhere. I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. So I think it's important, but how important is also to understand that there is a bit of a need for consent to be able to share the story.
It's needed. I think that's really big time. You know, as I said, coffee producers are people with really lack of a lot of resources and including communication. So they don't know. You can recognize that because you're there. You have access to telephones and smartphones that you can be able to see. I do that. I mean, I see that a lot of times. You find some people just taking pictures of the farmers. They really need consent. When I said we should let them feel valued, it wasn't about anything else. So it's about getting their consent in everything. Coming on the ground, visit them, because when you come, they feel really connected. They feel like, oh, actually, our work is worthy looking at. So we should do even more amazing jobs so that everybody can continue to come. When you go out there to the ground, they're always excited to take pictures with you. And they like, when it's possible, they really want to have a copy as well so that they can keep that memory. But I know there's some people that just take the photos without their consent and they just put out there. And if it is being used in a very positive way, if you really want to showcase, oh, these are the people that we work with, every single cup that we sell, maybe 99% goes back to support their training programs, their whatever, that's really okay. But if you're showcasing that when it's a lie, when it's not really what you're doing, then that's really bad. Then there's no value, there's no dignity, there's no compassion, and there's no humanity out there. So you really want to be able to make people valued, showcasing them when they're consented and when there is something positive and impactful that is really going to come out of that.
I think it's really important. It has to be done with integrity and respect, rather than
Yeah.
integrity and respect. That's it. You're right. Yeah, it gotta be that way. It shouldn't be in any other way. And I think it's just incredible the work that you do, because, like you say, you're giving a voice, but it's not just a voice, just a face, or just a ambassador. It's a truly connected person with the people and the community, the culture and the land, because often it's easy to like I've learned this through a person that I'm close to, but there's certain things that only certain people can fully understand. And for many years, I used to think, oh yeah, I just need to hear it. Oh yeah, now I know it. But reality is that, it took me a while to realize that, no, I don't understand a lot of different things if I don't have them, if I don't live them. I can showcase sympathy, I can showcase compassion, but to fully understand them, it's like speaking the language. English is my second language. It will never be as good as my first language. So same with those elements, I will never be able to fully understand things that you were talking about, because I don't speak that language, in a metaphorical way, versus you actually have such a strong connection to it. So I think it's important that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ability with context, I think, because of it. It's true. It's real. The truth of it is essential.
Yeah, big time. I think when I think about coffee, the only thing that comes first in my mind is love. Because then anything that you do with love, as I said, now it is engaging your emotions. and anything else, any actions that is just gonna be there. It's just because of what you feel. So, and coffee also involves a lot of humanity, just like anything else. So if you think of that coffee, when you start taking your cup of coffee every morning, instead of looking at it as a drink or as a liquid, now you'll be able to start looking at the people, not only coffee producers per se, but a roaster, a buyer, a barista that just brewed it every morning for you. When you look people into the cup, then you know that you're on the right track, right? When you drink of the coffee, and you can be really reasonable enough, because most of us, most of the consumers, they just want to grab a cup of coffee and run to work. They don't really pay a lot of attention. But there are also some who are like, oh, who can drink and taste and be like, oh, this coffee has these attributes. So if you start thinking of attributes, start thinking of people who made that cup possible. And with that, you will always have, a reason to pay extra money for it, because you're helping not only producers, but everybody, every member of the supply chain. And that's how sustainability can be able to be achieved. But when people look at the coffee just as a drink, when any coffee professional look at their job as just a ticket to buy clothes, to have fun, man, I don't think there's anything there. But you really want to see your job as a platform, as an opportunity for you to save lives, as an opportunity for you to be, to make somebody's other life really good. And you don't have to necessarily give more. It's just that little thing that you can do that is completely going to change people's life. You have no idea how much it means for me to be here right now. So when you call me out here, as you said, when you mentioned something about storytelling, there's still misconnection on that part. We cannot bring coffee farmers out here, which is something that I really want to do it actually, so I can actually translate what she's talking about to you guys. But storytelling is really important, because now you help that person to really understand that, oh, actually, every $3 I get to pay per coffee is going to help this community. Oh, actually, if I do my job this way, not this way anymore, it's going to help this person. So just look at, I don't know, maybe I'm too community oriented, but I also have this belief that community starts with an individual. So if you really want to build yourself, you want to make sure that everything you do reflects back to the people around you. Because when you're not there, then they can do the same. And when you're helping somebody, you do not expect return from them directly, but they're going to remember, oh, Marco has ever had me live yesterday. One day we talked about this. It really inspired a lot of people. I want to do the same with somebody else. So you're trying to build that system, that structure that is really helpful and that is going to create a better world for everyone.
Also because, thank you, but it's more my pleasure to have you on. But firstly, but I think it's also connected to what you said before, two big words, humanity and love. So, humanity was built on stories, tens of thousands of years, all gathering in a cave, or all gathering around a fire, when there was not technology, and it was all about stories. It was about books at some stage when we started printing. It was radio at one stage. So humanity is made by each individual stories, isn't it? Yeah. So therefore, I think it's super important to have that at the forefront, understanding that everyone has a story. Sometimes people will, someone will message me and say, oh, it's so good that you had these amazing guests on. And I'm like, yeah, but even you have your own story messaging me. It doesn't matter whether you have followers, whether you have a title, whether you have a championship, whether you won something. It's like everyone has a story to share. And I think storytelling generates awareness, especially where awareness is much needed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Building a work is big time. It's key.
we reached the halfway mark, and it's the ritual question here, out of the box, kind of break a little bit through it. If you could, Smayah, who would you like to have dinner with? It can be anyone, and it doesn't have to be coffee related. Anyone.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my! I want to have dinner with Lisa from Aeropress one day. She has been so supportive. Aeropress company has been extremely supportive this time around, and it has really connected us. Um, so I would love to have dinner with her.
That sounds amazing. And yeah, I think, yeah, they were, yeah. Thank you to them, because I think
There's a
this was
lot of
possible as well
people
because
that I
of
want to have dinner with, but if I have to be one person, she gotta be
this
the
is
one.
the one. Yeah, she gets the points. That's great. Thank you. Smaya, also, because of, like you say, as a platform, with a lot of respect, I would also love to hear and learn more about uh, what you have to share about most recent events and the delicate yet important topics around people of color and the Black Lives Matter, with absolute respect, just to have your perspective in terms of if someone if even one person gonna re-listen to this tomorrow or next month will get inspiration and perspective and learn something and add value to that person.
Yeah. When that when when I have to talk about it, I really get emotional too because in my life when I travel, I have never really experienced any racism thing, but I really know that it really exists out there because people really tell the story, and we can see that through the actions that are being taken. But I would just love people to really remember that I'll put it in first in a coffee related thing. Coffee makes us one, right? I enjoy coffee every morning. You enjoy coffee. If it wasn't because of these coffee farmers spending endless hours in the mountains, going up and down, you wouldn't get energized every morning. And you wouldn't really feel as good as you feel when you have your sip of coffee. So coffee makes us one. We should all always remember. And if you believe in humanity, if we all bleed the same blood, we all talk. I don't think there's anyone who has 3 ears and I have two. I don't think there's anyone who has two noses and have two. That would be an abnormality, and we all believe that. But it's really stupid,
Mhm.
really, really stupid when anyone thinks that we're different. We should always find a way out of finding the positive things into our differences. We all come from different areas. We all come from. I'm miles away, kilometers away from you, right? But here we are talking. Um, we should use our differences this way, in a way that is going to positively impact people, and not only farmers or whoever, but people in general. I'm very sure that what it's being talked here is inspiring a lot of people, not because you're white or black or you're orange or you whatever. No, so long as you're human, you're gonna be inspired by anything that everybody's trying to bring in. So we should understand that. I don't know.
Well, like you said, I
It's
think,
when I think of this thing, but
yeah,
love each other. Really
that's,
love.
I was gonna there. Yeah.
Love should be our religion, should be our belief, should be everything we do. We should love each other. And with love that we have for one another, we can all guarantee the best life. Because you might do something for that person just because they identify they have black color, but you have no idea. Maybe your son or your daughter that was your daughter's favorite thing or favorite human in this world. So now it affects all of us. It's not something we should be doing right now. World is so chaotic, a lot of diseases, poverty, a lot of things. Why I don't see the reason why we shouldn't come together, because we all want to live better lives, and we should make everything better and for all. So let's use our differences to support different people instead of killing different people or people who don't really identify like us. Because otherwise, people will get angry and will be killing each other, and that's so sad.
Thank you. I really appreciate. I know it is one of those topics, and I can't have much to say. Like I was saying earlier, there's certain things that only certain people can fully understand 100%. All I can say is like we'll bring it back to those two words that you used, humanity and love. And I think that once you pull back, you take 10 steps backwards from everything that happens around your life, no matter who you are, and we go back to that principle of being human and love, love over fear, love over hate. That you can't lose with that, 100%. But thank you. I think it was important for, like I said, the purpose of these talks for me is adding value just to one person, and even if that one person is me, sometimes it's selfish maybe, but even if it's one person that we add value to, I'm happy, and that was much needed question. But thank you, I appreciate it. And going back on sort of the coffee, and another topic that's quite important to me is that coffee has it's often been linked as an industry, but yet finally, thanks to people like yourself and other amazing women in coffee, we're seeing more and more of a female presence. What words do you have for young women, especially, well, not just young, but well, women in general out there chasing their coffee dreams? And it doesn't have to be coffee, it could be anything. Yeah.
Anything. Thanks. That's an amazing question. I always get excited when somebody asks me that question. But first of all, looking at the past, everything that happens right now is just because of what was done in the past. And we should always learn from the past, but it's not a better place to stay. So learn the past to really prepare for your future. Um, Women in general, we were under minority for a very long time. And I guess the world, most of the governments or most of the societies have recognized how much women had to offer, because investing in women is investing in the whole community. She's not going to be looking at herself only, but she's going to be looking at her family and the whole community. So, especially like I will give example of my country, Rwanda. When you look at how many women are into making positions or leadership positions, you really have seen that the country has really, really developed quite a lot more than when they just invested a lot in men more than women. So for women out there listening to me right now, just know that you're gonna meet a lot of challenges. In my growth, I have encountered so many challenges. Being a girl that is really motivated to do anything that she could to earn skills, but it's not. My life hasn't been just perfect as most of the people think, because I just share positive energies all the time. They're just like, have you ever encountered any challenges, any negative thing? I'm like, oh, big time. But I don't really like to always showcase that, because that's what most people will see. But showcasing that, but also showcasing the efforts that you just put in to get out of it, and very perfectly. So you're gonna count a lot of challenges. You will want to learn something, and the man would just be like, "Oh, no, no, no! A girl, you cannot be in this position. This is just meant for men, for guys." But trust me, girl or women, you're capable of doing anything. And just take a look around, connect with each other, because that's I've been having a lot of great mentors who are women who have gone through same challenges. So they have been, guiding me. When I look at these women coffee farmers with all the challenges they face every single time, they have been my guiding lights. And when I remember that I am so capable with all the energies I have, with all my personality, I gotta do this. So there's nothing, there should be any limitation towards anything that you want to become in life. You have to really be extra patient. That's one thing I've learned. You really have to be extra patient to achieve any of your goal. But you also want to believe in yourself and work hard. Find opportunities, grab every opportunity that comes to your door, and if it doesn't come, just chase it, find it. Be like, oh, I want to become a roster. This is how I was telling my boss. Hi, I really want to become a roster. It's like, are you sure? Very much. And then until you speak up, it's until you show that you really want to do something, then a person that will identify or recognize that, oh, this young girl, this woman wants to become this thing. She's really motivated to become this person. They really jump into your life and offer support. So there are amazing people out there that will recognize that you're really motivated from the actions that you do at the moment and jump into your life, offer support, and you'll be able to achieve and become anything you want. So you shouldn't let any negative thing, any perception of anybody else to just ruin your goals and whoever you want to become. There is no limit to what we can become. Everything is possible if you just believe. That's my word for the women.
That I'm sure many who will listen next and the next coming days will appreciate those words. And I think also we live in a day and age where often social media is demonized, but we could,
Yeah.
there's a reason around it, but I do see the positives of it when it comes to, you talked about mentors. So for me, I think it's important for not just women, but anyone looking to overcome an insecurity, overcome a challenge, or trying to find their place on earth to be, hey, well, I'm going to shoot a direct message to Smayah, to Aga, to, June, to Sasha, to Andre, who just messaged. That was a very nice message, nicely said. Like, I think it's important that people understand that let's take advantage of social media for the good things, which is able to connect people from all over the world. This would never have been possible only let's call it 10 years ago. So I think we need to take advantage of this too. And look, unfortunately, I know time is ticking and you're super busy. I just want to ask you a couple of questions that I know that they require a bit of an answer. Because you talked about, because of the topics that you touched base on, I think it's important that people understand that it's really crucial to look at the values and the ethics behind a particular coffee brand, because like you said, it's all in the hands of each individual. And it's something that I'm very passionate about, because when I talk to friends or anything like that, that's something I always say, it is in the hands, because even in the economics, right, it's supply, demand, supply, demand, supply. How important is to look at a coffee bag and the company behind them, looking at those values and ethics before making a purchase, to understand how to fully actually support. Because look, let's be real, there's nothing that most people can do in the immediate in terms of to their means. They can't just fly to Rwanda or Ethiopia or other countries and start, dropping all their lives. But I think it's important to understand that, like you said, those very small actions can make a big impact as long as those actions are made mindfully and with purpose.
Yes, big time. Um, that is a very good thing they just asked. I remember talking about this thing some time ago. When you're a coffee retailer, I mean, a cafe selling coffee bags, what is really gonna make your customer who enjoys your coffee to really see that you're linked, you're connected to the people that you source from? It's the story you write on the back of your bag. So you really want to be transparent enough, because transparency is the key. You just don't want to put it in your words or make a poster on the door like, if you buy a cup of coffee, $1 is going back to these people, and maybe use the picture. But when they buy the bag, sometimes there's a time when you take a bag when you're brewing coffee at home, but the time maybe it's dripping, you really want to read everything about the bag. Just as you put the flavor notes on that bag, put all the story behind the coffee that you source. Just put it in the back. And for that, you're creating transparency. You're showing your client or whoever who's buying your coffee that they're being part of the cause. And that's the easy way you can communicate that without just having that post on the door, because some people don't want to read because whatever in their minds. But whoever, if a person buys the coffee from your shelf, no, that's your person. That's your person, and you really want to maintain, you really want to connect them, make them feel that they're being part of the cause, and there's no way to do that without providing that information. So information is everything, and that is, I also consider that to be like education. So educating consumers on or of what they're contributing on is really important, because if they don't buy the coffee, I don't see that everybody has everything to offer in the coffee industry. But he or she is the person, the last member of the supply chain, who makes quite a lot of efforts to continue to stay in the industry. So we really want to be able to make them feel that they're being part of the cause, they're supporting the communities that they probably never met, and all that should be in the state of the information. You put it on the coffee bags, and you spread that on your social media platform. You host events with your coffee employees in the house, educate coffee consumers, your customers. Sometimes, people want to hang out to your cafe and not only do their job, but when you're creative enough and hosting some events at your cafe, bringing in some people who have experience of being out there to the coffee producers field, have them educate them about everything that coffee has to go through to become coffee that they drink every day. You're creating transparency, but you're also building awareness, and everybody gets excited. Everybody wants to support. They just want to know, what am I supporting and how am I supporting? So you're the one to do that. Yeah.
I love it, and I think that awareness is such a buzzword, and I think often people,
Yeah.
which is okay, they want to be aware until you use that word, if that makes sense. Everyone wants to be good, everyone's, but I think sometimes people needs a little bit of a reminder or a pat on the shoulder and say, hey, what about awareness? And then, it's like a motion of actions, internal thinking of like, oh yeah, awareness. What am I aware about today? I think, and I think prompts are important, and it comes down to everyone. And like I said I said a few times on these episodes, when some people ask questions around specialty and how can we spread the word and about the farmers and all, just like, well, it really comes down to that one-on-one conversation to start. That's how, I don't know, even religion started, right? Like, if you want to go macro, it's hey, by the way, this is what we believe in. Do you want to join us on Sunday or whatever? A lot of things happen with that one word, one conversation, one connection. So I think it's important. Smayah, it was so nice, humbling to have you, and I'm very glad that we did this. I'd love to probably do it again in a few months' time. It's still 10 minutes to go, but Instagram is horrible because it shuts it after. It gives just 30 seconds, and I want to leave the stage to you for the last couple of questions to make sure that we have ample time for them. Ultimately, we heard your story. We heard such important topics that should really make people stop, sit down, digest, think, and take some action on, from what happens at origin, from
Yeah.
diversity to and all the other topics, women in coffee. Ultimately, what would you like to see in the future of coffee? And with that, hand in hand, what's your coffee mission and what's next on your planet?
Wow, that's a big question. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much again for having me today.
My pleasure.
Um, yeah, so what I really want to see in the coffee and in the world, I just want to see that people see each other as everything, as to see themselves, just like the way you go into your mirror every morning, look at you and be like, oh, you're so beautiful. You got this. Let's get it today. Just know that, see in that person the same thing that you see in yourself. I know we all have our capacity. We were blessed with different things in life. We all live very different lives. But if you can see that, okay, oh, that person is really great, they got it, and together we're gonna build something strong, then that's everything I want to see. I want to see the world coming together. I want to see people supporting each other. People I want to see coffee industry continue to promote visibility of the coffee producers, especially Africans. When I go to Record Symposium, I've been there maybe a couple times. This is one of the best coffee reunion ever, coffee event, annual coffee event that SCA organized every year. When I sit and look around, I always feel sad, to be honest, because it's 400 to 500 people around the room. And how many Africans are there? Very few. How many people from Central and South America? Quite a lot. Who is on the stage talking, and what is everybody that represent or presents their topics talking about coffee producers? People who can never dream to be in that room. But you're like, okay, so what is it all about? Who is going to transfer? And every information that if it's not one-on-one, the information is not going to be delivered the way it is. There's always possibility for miscommunicating something, or forgetting about something, and you talk about something else. So I really want to see, SCA has been really giving great platforms. I think I became a lead scholar, one of the lead scholar, the first cohort. I was the only African to be selected on that platform in the world. It was a big thing. So now it became like an opportunity that you get, but that comes with responsibility to represent the whole community or the whole continent. And I just want to see, and later on, they selected one more African, which is really good. So they're trying to bring this thing. I think they really identify that there was lack of visibility of Africans on our platform. We're not there, and everything that is being discussed is something that is always affecting our people. So we really want to see them creating tables that have seats for everyone. Not only this person because they have these skills, not only this person because they own a very big company. We want to put people together. That's all I want to see. There could be a lot of challenges. At least bring one or two. They're going to deliver. The way you can come, Marco, in Africa and tell the story or tell people what to do is not going to be the same as I would. So we really want to make sure that we're building something stronger together, because that's how we can really guarantee sustainability, guarantee the best world for everyone. I just want to see love and humanity in people, and I want to see coffee industry to be the leading industry in the world, showcasing love and compassion and authenticity and empathy and humanity, and the rest of our industry will learn from us, and the world is just gonna be great.
I love it. I think the topic of representation is so crucial because it's interesting to hear that too, because it's like, often the Melbourne, which we're so lucky to be here with so many
Yeah.
good coffees, like a lot of times the most loved coffees are coffees on the table that come from Africa, and then they should have more representation. Nothing wrong with Indonesian coffee, and nothing wrong with South or Central America, but representation is extremely important. Smayah, I really thank you for your words, your insights, what you had to share. It was wonderful having you here, truly. And maybe we can kind of touch base again in a couple of months or something, and maybe we can, I don't know, we might DM and come up with some idea, whether it's you want to bring someone or you want to give voice to someone and be there. I'm not sure. Something
We'll figure
that we'll figure it out. I think it'll be interesting to hear more from you, and I would love to hear more from you, and I think people deserve to hear more from you. And from I don't represent the coffee community, but from me, I just want to tell you that I appreciate what you're doing, and I can't wait to see more from you. But thank you for giving us an hour of your time. It flew. I wish it didn't fly so fast, but it was incredible hearing what you had to say, and I really appreciate it. Very grateful for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for being part of my journey. I will continue to do the amazing work because it's now worth looking at. And it's really helping the world coming together. That's my forever drive. Um, so thank you very much for having me. I look forward to have another conversation with you in the future. We'll keep in touch. Thanks everyone who was here with
So,
us. Hope that the message that we've sent to you guys is really helpful and will always make you think about coffee in a different way now from now on. And if you have to drink one more cup of coffee, that's okay. Um, yeah, but drink it mindfully and remember that you are supporting a lot of people. And let's continue to spread love and pray for each other and stay strong, healthy, and safe in these weird times of life. But I love you all. Thank you, Marco, for having me.
thank you, thank you. It was wonderful. My pleasure. Thank you, Maya. I'll keep in touch. I'm sure I'll message you after the live finishes. Thank
Big
you again.
hugs to
Really appreciate it.
thank you, AeroPress, for connecting us. We're so
Yeah,
grateful for you, and I love AeroPress coffee. So,
you know it. All right. Thank you, Maya. It was wonderful.
thank you,
I
thank
will talk to
you.
you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Um, we have left about 60 seconds, and I um, I think Andre in the comments saying that was a fantastic talk. Thank you so much. I think it just sums up the way I feel right now. I think I will need to sit down. I will need to sort of think about the things that I've learned and heard. It was amazing. I'm very glad that we were able to get Smayah on and have this chat. And I just hope that all of you have enjoyed it, and people who will listen to this again, because this will be posted as a podcast. This will be posted as a YouTube video and IGTV. And the reason behind is because I think that what Smayah had to say is so valuable, it's so at so much depth, meaning, and just beautifully crafted message that I just like more and more people to hear it. Just because it's be of like a chain effort. She said a beautiful message, and then one person hear that, and that person can refer that message to a few friends, and a few friends refer that message. So definitely great to hear that. So again, I appreciate having you all here. Hope you're safe. Big shout out people who just stuck around. I think today Instagram was down. It was playing up, but that's okay. Thank you, Coffee Diaries, Andre, Smayah, Modest Barista, all of you. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next week with more guests. The show must go on, as they say, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, night, or a beautiful cup of coffee. Take care.